Shalom, all praise, honor, and glory, and fear to Yahawashi, by Hashem Harakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect striving for salvation during these electrifying times. So I'm gonna open up with a couple of my favorite scriptures to let us know, what time we're in. So the first one is Ephesians 5 and 14. It says, "Wherefore he said, Awake, thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Yahawashi shall give thee light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil." That's one, because we got to know what time we're in. If you don't know what time you're in, you're going to get caught up with all the things all the prophecies that's coming to pass, that's going to put people in danger, and people are going to be suffering, and it's going to be a lot of tribulation, a lot of pestilence. It's a lot of bad times. Days are dark. So you got to know what time you're in, and you know what time you're in based upon what the prophecies are saying. Let me go to one of my other. I usually start off with Romans, because that's one of my favorite knowing the time you're in scriptures is in the book of Romans 13 and verse 11. It says, "And that knowing the time that now it is nigh, Slakia, and that knowing the time that now it is high time to awake out of sleep." Because our people, we've been asleep since the Most High took our heritage from us. Ever since he decided that, he turned his back on us because we were being so wicked as a nation, that we found our way out of the Most High's good graces. But he had mercy upon us, because the Most High is he's a merciful power. But he did tell us we were going to discontinue from our heritage. Reading about it in Jeremiah. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick, just for edification. This is Jeremiah 17 and 4. It says, "And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever." Because we were disobedient. We are, as a nation, as a whole, we've been very disobedient to the Most High. But the Most High has a remnant that he was going to allow to come back into that heritage and not be discontinued anymore, but to continue on in our true heritage, knowing who we are as a people, knowing who our true power is, knowing who we're supposed to be worshiping, knowing what we're supposed to celebrate, what we're not supposed to celebrate, keeping the law, statutes, commandments to the best of our ability. He's giving that back to that small sanctuary that he cast back unto himself by way of Yahawashi. He's given us that to know who we are, so therefore we know the prophecies, we know what to be looking for, so we're not walking around out here in a dead state of mind, in the spiritually dead, because majority of our nation is. So I'm gonna go back and read Romans again. It says, "And that knowing the time that now is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed." Meaning, when I first came into truth, the Most High gave you a certain amount of faith and belief, right? And to know the time that I was in at that current time, and it could go down at any moment. But as time goes further and further along, the Most High, he turns that dial up, meaning he's allowing prophecies to come further and further beyond what it was in the past. So now you have these prophecies that are, at first the prophecies, they were whispering, so to speak, and then they started speaking, like the scriptures say, and then in the future, the prophecies are going to be screaming at you. On a large scale, it's screaming already at you. If you see what's going on with Iran and America, that's World War III, on the verge of the brinks of being kicked off to the higher level of World War III, because Iran they're going to go invade Iran, right? And when them troops, of the American troops, go in there and invade Iran, you best believe their big brother Russia And then also their cousin over there, China, you know, and North Korea, North Korea been ready to get this thing going. You know, they're like that, they're like the hype man for this war. That's what North Korea is. They've been ready to jump off. And then that's gonna have World War III on a high level, high-powered war, nuclear war. Because the ICBM missiles, these have been built, and they're gonna be utilized. So you got to know the time you in. You know, the time you in is very, very extremely important. And so what I want to get in today is I want to focus on our big brother Yahawashi, the second coming. He's coming back, and we know that he's coming back. But there's plenty of scriptures, so when people get caught out there, because they're gonna get caught out there, there's no excuse for it. Especially if you call yourself a God-fearing, so-called quote-unquote God-fearing Christian, or you're into the Bible, you believe in the Most High and His Son. There's no reason for you not to know that he's coming back. Everybody, you have an idea, but do you read in depth to what the scriptures say about him coming back? The ways that he's going to be coming back. So this is see, when he came on the scene the first go around, he didn't get his respect. You know, he was lowly. He was very humble. He made himself a servant, and he put forth his life and died on the cross for the nation of Israel to have forgiveness, to be forgiven by the Most High, to be adopted back unto the Most High. But when he come back the second time, he coming back in his glory. He coming back with vengeance and power, and he's coming back to destroy. He's coming back to take these crowns from these the so-called elites. You know, they're the ones that's in power, ruling right now. And so, in order for someone else to be crowned a king, the current individual on the throne has to be taken off the throne for another power to go upon that throne. That throne, we know, is for Yahawashi, his kingdom and rulership. This is give me one moment. This is Daniel 7:13. This is, I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven. The clouds, when the scriptures talk about clouds, and especially in this particular verse, it's talking about a chariot. There's been numerous, I mean, there's so many chariot sightings, who the world knows as UFOs, and who us in the truth, we know them as IFOs, because their identified flying objects are the chariots of the Most High, which the vehicles that the holy angels travel in. But those who are not in the knowledge, you've been told that those are UFOs, which is unidentified flying objects. So those are UFOs, so to speak. So you understand, they're flying around throughout the earth, all around the world. There's so many sightings that Esau don't even put that on his mainstream media, because he don't want to draw attention to it. But it's been out there so much on social media that it's becoming a normal thing. Like, oh, now it's like, is that a UFO? I mean, it's not, is that a UFO? That's a UFO, and let's see what it's about to do. Which I seen a video of a chariot today. It came up out of this construction site, and its lights was blinking, and it just zipped, man, it was fast. It was gone. And so that's a beautiful thing. But back to the scripture. It says, I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came with the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages shall serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom which shall not be destroyed. So when Yahawashi come back, this kingdom is an everlasting kingdom that's going to be set up with the Hebrew Israelites in the power seat, starting from the high-ranking talking about the Most High, Yahawashi, then the 12, then the elect, and on down to the rest of the nation of Israel. The 2/3, when they come back in the kingdom, they got a seat in that rulership, because the kingdom of heaven is for the nation of Israel. Next scripture I want to get into. This, matter of fact, let me stay right here in Daniel. We'll jump down to verse 27. It says, "And the kingdom and dominion and greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High," which is the Israelites, "whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him." Speaking of Yahawashi. All you other nations are going to serve underneath the feet of Yahawashi and the rest of the nation of Israel. Because when he comes, he's that rock that smote the statue that talks about in Daniel. He's the one that's going to come and take the crowns off the heads of the kings of the earth, which are your other nations, prime ministers and presidents, world leaders and all that. He's coming to take that power. That power will no longer belong unto them. And the thing about it is, the Most High is so beautiful. When Yahawashi was on the scene the first time, and when because the scriptures do say, if this was my kingdom, my servants will fight. But this is not this was not Yahushua's kingdom, because this is a wicked kingdom, and it was ruled by the Edomites, and they're in power, and that's why everything you see is in a wicked state, and all the people follow under that vibration. But when the apostles wanted to fight these centurions, Yahawashi, he told Peter, he said he could send for 12 legion of angels to come take this place, but it wasn't that time. They had other prophecies that had to come to pass first. Like 2,000 years had to go by, and then to live into the times we're in now. The times we're in now is the times that those legions are going to come. And he's starting with his street soldiers, which is the men that are going out here prophesying that he's coming and he's going to take over. But people just walk past, and they don't want to hearken and listen, because they didn't give him his respect and the glory and the power that he was deserving of as the king of our nation, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, back when he was on the scene. He didn't get that from them. But when he comes this time, I'm talking about, he didn't even get that from our own people. Our own people strung him up. But when he come this second time, he coming for a purpose, and people it's going to be respected. All right, so I'm in Isaiah 40. I'm going to start at verse. I'm going to start at the top. It says, comfort ye, my people, said the Lord, said the Most High. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her that her welfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned. For she had received of the Lord's hand double of all her sins. The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our power. And this is a prophecy of John. This was spoken. He spoke the same thing. It was basically started back with him, even on down to us right now. When we go out and we teach, this is a portion of basically preparing the way for when Yahawashi come. So people can't say they weren't told. They can't say that they had no idea. You can't beg for mercy when the time of mercy the mercy is on right now. The gates of mercy are open right now. So you have the chance to try to change yourself. And there's no reason for you not to even know. Everybody knows about the truth. Like, it's just out there. If you don't know about the truth, you must be on drugs or a bud head or something. Your mind is blown. Like, you don't know regular other stuff. if you don't know the truth, because the truth is everywhere. It's in your face, on the street corners. It's all over the internet, you know. And then now Esau's demonizing us. He's finding ways, and he's gonna get even more and more intense. He's gonna magnify that demonization of us that teach the scriptures, or the Hebrew Israelites, or quote unquote black Hebrew Israelites, which we're Hebrew Israelites, you know, for edification. But you put that byword on us, or that stigma on us, and to help you slander and demonize us. You're gonna be able to see it when you go out on your everyday life. You can see brothers out there teaching, but you know is you seeing them demonizing all the false shit reports that they put out there. You know, they lie all day. But anyway, this is part of preparing the way, so when you won't have no excuses, because the preparation is still going on from the days of John the Baptist, from the days of old, 2,000 years ago to this time now, and it's been in this. It's right there for yourself to read it in the scriptures. Verse 4, it says, "Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low." When it's talking about mountain and hill, it's talking about, you know, big governments, small governments, your local governments. They're gonna be brought low, and the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough placed plain. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. So you're gonna see this. It's gonna be graced in front of your naked face, your naked eye. You will see it with your natural sight. This is not a vision that you're gonna see. You're gonna physically see him. It says, the voice said, "Cry," and he said, "What shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all the goodness therefore is the flower of the fields." So when the Lord comes, I'm gonna jump back into verse 5, because this is the point. It says, "And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all the flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken it." And the mouth of the Lord is the men. We're out here teaching, we're going out here speaking, you know, and I'm telling you, we're his mouthpiece at this particular time. So next scripture I want to get into.
Thanks for going, Metro. Please be considerate of those around you, and don't play loud music or take up more than one seat.
This is Mark.
By moving to the center of the car, bikes should be placed in the designated areas on board, so they don't block access for others. And for everyone,
all right, this is Mark 13.
Please do not try to hold the doors open.
And I'm gonna start at it up a little bit. Verse 24. "But in those days, after the tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with the great power and glory." We already went over that a little earlier. He's going to be coming in them chariots. So that's the clouds he's going to be coming in. "And then shall he send his angels, and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost parts of the earth to the uttermost parts of heaven." And that's why we waiting. We want this so bad, because when he comes, we're hoping that we're part of his elect, that we get to get out of here, that we can escape all the tribulation and ultimately the destruction. When he comes to destroy, we hoping for salvation, and we get spared, and his mercy is placed upon our heads, that we may be delivered out of that, so he can get us out of this destruction that's coming. And because at that point we feel that the Most High, the scriptures, like the scriptures say, we feel that we're the hopeful elect, and that he said he'll be there for his hopeful elect. He said he'll get you through all the tribulations. You will be protected. So we hoping that we get you know, beamed up in the chariots. I did a video on that Nike commercial. I think it's called Great Week or something like that. The name of the commercial. But they put that in the commercial. They put the, you know, the end times. They put the time of Jacob's trouble. They put all that in there. They put the beaming up, the salvation, getting beamed into the chariots. It's in that commercial. And we hoping that that's us. That we're blessed with that. The next scripture I want to get into is go back to Isaiah. There's gonna be so many chariots that's gonna hit the sky. It's gonna block out the sun. It's gonna be dark. So this is Revelation. Isaiah 66 and 15. It says, "For behold, the Lord will come with fire." People, something else, man. It says, "For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many." Many slain, man. There's gonna be many people put to death. You know, and matter of fact, we get a quick precept. All right, this is Nahum 3 and 1. This is a description of when he coming back. It's one of the descriptions that was given by the prophet Nahum. It says, "Woe to the bloody city." The bloody city is America. "It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departed not." And is not America not founded upon all the lies they tell you how America was obtained? And who it was robbed. The North American, which is the Gadites and the Seminole Indians, which are the Reubenites, you know, our brothers and sisters of the 12 tribes. They had this land. Northern Kingdom brothers came over here in this land, and they occupied this land. And then Esau came from his European state and came over here and took the land. He robbed the people of their land, and then you set them on reservations. And then you try to turn around and tax them on the land that they own, which is the reservations that you gave them, the low parts of the land that you allowed them to reserve, that you reserved for them to give them to live upon. Then you wanted to try to make them pay taxes on that own land that they own. It's just so wicked. You know, you made treaties, and then you broke every single treaty that you made with them. This is the MO of the so-called white man, which is Esau Edom. This is the things that you do. This is your track record. This is your identification. And that's what you did. It says the noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and the prancing horses and the jumping chariots. That's talking about what you hear in the background. You constantly hear cars going by. You hear a train going by. These are the modern day vehicles. That's what the rattling wheels and the prancing horses and the jumping chariots is talking about, your modern day vehicles, which are cars. The horseman lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear. And that's talking about these missiles. If you look at this missile, right? This is the sword. Hold on, give me a moment. I'm trying to do this with one hand. All right. So this is the sword right here where it says USSR. That's the sword. The fire behind it, Nahum described that as glitter because it was sparkling. because back at that time they didn't see anything, of this magnitude, like fire like that, and that big of a blast. All they knew was the fire that they had on the land at that time. But it was coming out, it was shooting out the back of a rocket or a missile. It looked like glitter to him. It looked like a sword with glitter coming out the back. This is the way that Nahum described what he saw in the vision. Back to it says the horseman lifted both the bright sword and the glittering spear. So that looked like the glittering spear, the missiles to him. And there is a multitude of slain, and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpse. They stumbled upon their corpse. So it's going to be, when that impact hit from those missiles, there's going to be 200 million missiles. It's going to hit this land. It's going to be none end of all the corpse that this missile is going to present to this land. It's going to be nothing but dead bodies all over. Because of the multitudes of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, and that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcraft. And that's America. You got all your witches and warlocks. This place is you have whole cities, the demographic, geological locations, and the demographics of the cities, the architectural developments of certain cities are all in Masonic demonic order. They like, you go to Washington D.C. and from an aerial view, you can see all the monuments that people go and they take pictures of, and they go and idolize these monuments, but it's Masonic order. It's all demonic witchcraft. Because the whore that sits on the scarlet-colored beast is America. Matter of fact, go into this right quick. So you have the sign here. This is America. America is that harlot that sits upon the beast, which is NATO and the EU. This is the beast. Those nations, because America sits on top of that, which basically runs the power of it. But these are all the beasts. NATO, the beast is the 7 heads and the 10 horns is NATO, and then you have the EU in there. And America's the harlot that sits on top of it. And most people don't understand that. Most people don't get that. They read the scriptures and they don't know what it's talking about. Like some of the people just read the scriptures and they think it's just that's why you have people that don't have no understanding that say the scriptures are a bunch of nice stories and stuff. They don't understand. It's prophecy. You know what I mean? The Most High always use parables through the scriptures. Yahawashi spoke in parables. He always used parables and metaphors and things like that. Dark sayings. He always the scriptures speak that way thoroughly. He uses animals to depict the nation of people, or he used like the parable. I mean, not the parable, but the vision of the dream with the statue, the dreams that Daniel was able to interpret. The Most High always used something to solidify or to signify something. He uses, he does that all the time, and it's beautiful because it's basically in code. It's written in code, and he's allowed certain men to get the access to is granted the access, the access to the codes to understand it. Verse 5, Behold, I am against thee, said the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And that's happening now. That's happening now. You have all these other nations that are going to come against America, and they have been coming against America for years. Why do they come against America? because the Most High has been giving them to show how wicked they were. Even America's allies are starting to cause them trouble, and they're going to eventually turn against them too. When you read in Obadiah, Obadiah tells you that those that you are in league with, thy confederacy, have laid a wound under thee, which means they going to turn against you. You're not going to continue to be put yourself up as what is looked at as what's right, because you know Esau makes them to be righteous. You know, he puts it in his media that they're doing this to go help democracy at another country. You go to another country and you go and take their government down, and then you put a puppet leader in there that's going to follow the agenda that you want him to, and then you demonize that country or that country's leader to the American public, so the people think, oh, we're doing a good thing, but those people over there know the deal and they can't stand you. That's why they burn the American flag and they lead chants saying they hate and destroy America. Right now, the leader of the United States is Donald Trump. He's the president, right? But he got a hit on him. He got a straight hit on him. He has an $80 million bounty on his head. That 80 million for people of Iran put up $1. They put that dollar up as a payout for whoever could deliver them this dude's head, man. And I seen a video of him at he was speaking. Donald Trump was speaking, and somebody yelled Allah Akbar. And he freaked the hell out. It was so funny. He got scared than a motherfucker, which means that he knows that this ain't no joke. Like he knows that you're gonna have to deal with Iran, and Iran has a big brother in Russia. You're gonna have to. It's gonna come down to a hedge, and you ain't gonna be able to just get up on the podium and talk tough. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to back it up. And here, this dude is scared. But anyway. Back to the scriptures. So when Yahawashi comes, right? Nahum gave you an illustration of how it's gonna be. You know, matter of fact, I got a couple more precepts on this last one. In Jeremiah. Jeremiah 51, because this is another scripture describing that glittering spear. 51:1, it says, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. A destroying wind is that ICBM missiles that's going to come through and it's going to destroy. And they continue to destroy to the tune of 200 million of them, destroying this whole